Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. Today we explore diverse issues across our nation and the communities helping solve them. We'll raise the curtain on how a nonprofit is helping those working in the entertainment industry. And we set sail for the waters off the coast of California, where scientists are helping marine life from a toxic dump site. But first, we begin with the crisis of homelessness in the nation. Among children, more than 4 million young people experience homelessness every year in the United States. Meg Oliver takes us inside a new nonprofit in Boston on a mission to solve this heartbreaking problem.
Fletcher has to take 2 trains and a bus to get home, but would never complain because having a home to go to wasn't always a guarantee.
I was very much like, I'm gonna have to sleep in the street.
Fletcher is just one of the roughly 41,000 youth who experience homelessness on a given night. The 22-year-old left an abusive home in Georgia with no job and no support in Boston.
It's been an incredible turnaround.
Fletcher works at Break Time, a new nonprofit helping end the cycle of homelessness among young adults.
Young adult homelessness is really at a peak at this country for a number of different reasons. One is that young people who are LGBTQ+ are being kicked out of their homes. We also have many young people who are transitioning out of the foster care system.
Connor Schoen is the executive director. The recent Harvard graduate was inspired to start Break Time while working at a shelter during college.
I found again and again that the thing that they were most asking about was jobs.
Were you surprised by that?
I was surprised by that because you're at a homeless shelter and you expect that people will be trying to figure out housing, and they were, but twice as often they were asking about jobs.
The year-long program starts with workplace training, followed with a 3-month job placement at a nonprofit or small business and credit counseling.
If I would have known about this 10 years ago, I wouldn't be going through what I've known about now.
What's going on, boss? Here to pick up the donations.
For Armani, a job is just the beginning. Break Time has also helped him apply for an apartment and rent assistance.
Break Time gives you the opportunity to further yourself, even with the hurdles that you go through. Even if you make a mistake, they're saying it's okay to go back and try again, because only you can be your biggest hurdle.
Helping young people like Fletcher find meaning and purpose in their life once again.
It's this thing where you don't realize until you're on the other side of it. It very well and truly saved my life.
Break Time saved your life.
Genuinely.
We move on to an entirely different kind of problem facing young people. There are more than 1 million fewer students enrolled in college now than in 2019 before the pandemic began. Mark Strassman visits a university in Georgia bucking the trend with a creative approach.
We can create some fast sketches.
Hey, sneakerheads, for a class in sneaker design.
Because you got time.
Yeah.
I think this looks cool.
Or to shoot a virtual commercial in the Arctic.
Can you feel this is real?
Head to SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Not a lot of people, when they're applying for a beauty marketing job, can say they majored in beauty and fragrance in college.
Something's working at SCAD, where design meets technology. 15,000 artistic students. Enrollment was up 9% last year.
We're very oriented toward invention, more so than tradition.
How often is the curriculum critiqued and updated?
More than once a year.
Most popular majors: animation, filmmaking, fashion. Sneaker design is now a minor here, in a curriculum evolving nimbly and practically.
How do you launch a product? How do you bring ideas to life?
And engaging employers.
What are you looking for when you hire for students that are coming out?
SCAD claims students have a 99% employment rate within 10 months of graduation.
No starving artists at SCAD.
No starving artists. And how is that?
You know, creativity is really about invention that's relevant. We don't teach anything that you can't get a good job in.
SCAD has an entire school dedicated to business innovation.
Our students want to work at Disney, Google, L'Oreal, and those businesses want to hire, and they do hire from SCAD.
Employers now circle. SCAD graduated more than 3,200 students this month.
Now to Virginia, where Chris Van Cleef shows us how a critical shortage of lifeguards around the entire country could mean less time in the pool for kids and families this summer.
Tanner Zilch is an increasingly rare find, someone who wanted to be a summer lifeguard.
I work with a lot of my friends. I feel like the environment is really a lot of fun, but it's also it's an important job, obviously.
But from California,
we had a horrible turnout for our lifeguard tryout.
To Connecticut.
It's been challenging for the past couple years.
The once coveted summer job is suddenly out of style. The American Lifeguard Association warns a third to nearly half of the nation's 300,000 public pools are expected to be impacted, prompting closures, delayed openings, and reduced hours.
How hard is it to find a lifeguard right now?
It's extremely challenging, yeah.
Jimmy Davis is the director of aquatics for Palm Beach County, Florida. They're short about 30% of summer employees.
We're not going to be able to conduct as many swim lessons as we normally do, and that has a direct impact on the community and could potentially affect the number of drownings that we see in our communities.
Down 15% of their ocean lifeguards, some county beaches are being left unstaffed.
We provide a public service to the community, and it is imperative that we are there.
And worries beachgoers nationwide.
Actually, a bit terrifying because for me, I'm a weak swimmer.
Superhero is my day job.
Boulder, Colorado launched this Be a Superhero campaign trying to woo potential applicants. Austin, Texas had only about 1/3 of the lifeguards needed, so the city increased the pay and added up to $1,250 in bonuses. And in Richmond, Virginia, Parks and Rec will even teach applicants the basics.
We help you learn how to swim. If you need swimwear, we'll help you get swimwear. We make sure that we have those tools and those instruments in place so you can better serve the community.
Now, the pandemic is certainly a factor in this. Lifeguarding requires special certifications and can be a low-paying job in places. $10 to $15 an hour isn't uncommon. So in a tight labor market, there are other options. And the backup has been temporary foreign workers. Well, those visa programs remain backlogged.
Coming up, a nonprofit working hard behind the scenes to help performers and entertainment industry workers in need. This is Eye on America. For more than 140 years, the Actors Fund has been a lifeline to the millions of people working in entertainment. But it's not just for those in front of the camera. Vlad Dutier sat down with a few familiar faces to find out why the fund is such a crucial part of the entertainment we all enjoy.
If it weren't for the fund, I don't know which direction I would have wound up.
20 years ago, actor-singer Javier Munoz says his life was upended after an HIV diagnosis.
I remember having about 3 days of shutting down physically and mentally and really just not in such shock. And then I just woke up and said, you got to take care of you, right? So what are you going to do?
That's when he turned to the Actors Fund for help.
It was about getting health insurance, about what I could afford and make work. Finding a doctor that could work with that, needing counseling, someone to talk to about the side effects and what it feels like. They've been in my corner the entire journey and really allowed me to keep my dignity through this whole time.
Munoz, who famously took over the iconic role of Alexander Hamilton from Lin-Manuel Miranda, now has a lifelong gratitude to the fund.
I'm living proof right here that what you do makes such a difference.
And a commitment to spreading the word.
It provides the things you know you need and the things you can't even predict that you will need.
It's beautifully said.
It comes once a year, there's no way to duck it.
Lyricist and composer Amanda Green says she's also forever indebted to the nonprofit after it helped her mother, actress Phyllis Newman, as she battled breast cancer in the 80s.
At the time, it was kind of something that it was taboo to talk about. She also saw no safety net for women in the industry, and she founded the Women's Health Initiative, the Phyllis Newman Women's Health Initiative. So it's really an incredible arm of the Actors Fund.
Why is it important for the folks on the stage, behind the stage, to have this resource?
It's our lifestyle, right? Even just being able to pay our rent and buy groceries, it is completely attached to our ability to work. This is the most unpredictable industry.
People rely on the arts, and they feed your soul. They can change minds. They can change lives and hearts. But we all need to eat too.
Yes, exactly.
You know.
The organization's new name now reflects all the people it serves. Anyone and everyone in theater, film, television, radio, music, dance, opera, and circus. Tony Award winner Brian Stokes Mitchell has been the chairman of the fund for 18 years.
The thing that a lot of people don't understand about, I think, show business is, you think of show business and you think famous actors.
Right.
And those famous actors are making a gajillion dollars a picture. And that's not the reality. The reality is most people are gig workers going from job to job to job. And a lot of people are just a paycheck away from poverty.
He says the pandemic highlighted the necessity of this lifeline.
Since the pandemic has started, we have given away more than $26.8 million to almost 18,000 people now. And one of the things that I realized is when you're feeling terrible, when you're at your worst, help somebody else. That'll get you out of that.
A simple gesture can go a long way, like an impromptu duet with a Broadway legend I'll never forget.
True, dear, when I'm close to you, dear, the stars fill the sky. So in love with you am I.
Yes, exactly.
From the silver screen to radio waves. In Western Massachusetts, listeners are tuning in to a bilingual radio show bringing a community together. Janet Shamlian introduces us to the mother and daughter co-hosts.
Tenía mucha hambre.
Daisy Escobar is like most high schoolers by day.
From 11 to 3 in the afternoon.
But one night a week, she's the voice of connection to a growing immigrant community in the Massachusetts Berkshires.
And for those of you who are new to the area,
the 17-year-old hosts a bilingual radio show. Her partner at the mic is someone she knows well, her mom, Marta.
Our mission is to keep our immigrant community informed.
It's part public service, where to find free English classes. The rest, pure dance party. Marta used to host solo until a then 8-year-old Daisy asked to join. She's been a co-host ever since.
What's it like to spend time and have this time with your mom?
So this is our moment where we get to connect. We love to dance and
we dance together. We
laugh.
Sing. We laugh.
Mundo Latino on station WTBR is a favorite in the region. From law offices to the local garage.
You work together every week. Who's the boss?
I think we are a good team.
A mother and daughter on the same frequency, keeping their community informed.
After the break, we meet a couple spreading colorful inspiration to their San Francisco neighborhood. Stay with us. A San Francisco couple is bringing new meaning to the term flower power. Known as guerrilla gardeners, they're sowing wildflower seeds in the urban jungle and benefiting more than just nature. Lilia Luciano shows us how.
With pink water guns adapted for seed dispersal.
Oh, wow. This is us.
Behold my street art.
It is like street art. We met up with Shalico and Phoenix McGee, who've been leaving their colorful mark on the streets of San Francisco for the last decade. This is so beautiful.
This is what happens when the entire seed pack goes to bloom.
There's so many colors. It looks like my outfit.
Yeah.
Shalico, who runs a production studio, and Phoenix, a landscape contractor, are seeding a little joy, one planter at a time.
These are fun.
The self-professed guerrilla gardeners plant native wildflowers in forgotten spaces, on streets, in vacant lots, even the grounds of the local police station. These are beautiful. They're so high.
Yeah, they're popping off.
You bring your shaker like this and the cops don't say anything?
They say thanks for the flowers.
Aww. What is guerrilla gardening?
We plant native pollinator seeds in neglected areas of land, and it's just a nice way to make a forgotten about space, you know, full of flowers. And you can see the pollinators all flying around in here.
Supporting pollinators, of course, is beneficial for farming, but on the streets of this concrete jungle, the thrill of a successful seed bombing is real.
I think people think it's like fun and like rebellious, and it's getting them excited about planting.
With 250,000 followers on TikTok and over 5 million likes,
Look at the different seeds in there.
they've discovered a whole bunch of passionate planters on social media. And it turns out sowing these flowers is good for the soul.
We take a break from our computers, or we take a walk at sunset, and we sow native seeds on our walks. We'll forget that we sowed a place up with seeds, and then we'll turn a corner 3 months later, and all of a sudden you'll see all of the plants.
California and then a hyper-native Bay Area mix.
Now the pair is all about spreading the gospel of the seeds. What's been the most rewarding for you?
We're speaking at schools and universities, and we met with this troop of Girl Scouts.
Put them in the shaker.
And taught them about native wildflowers. They dressed up as bees, and we taught them about pollinators and just the benefits of that. And it's just introducing the next generation to this, and sort of getting them in touch with nature.
They were so excited. We gave them all little shakers, and then they were running around with the shakers and dressed as bees. It was really beautiful.
It all stems from their desire to brighten up the city and bring smiles to their neighbors' faces. Do you guys still get very excited every time we do this?
Every time. It never gets old.
What's it feel like to walk by and see this?
There's always something that we've planted blooming. So it's just kind of heartwarming. I feel like you can feel it. People call it our magic trick, but it's nature's magic trick. We're just helping it along.
We transition now from wildflowers to some trouble in our waters. Off the California coast, a toxic dump site on the seafloor from over half a century ago is still wreaking havoc on the marine environment to this day. Last year, Jeff Baradelli met the scientists on a mission to undo some of the damage.
Loud and exceptionally social, sea lions are known for making a scene. But this California sea lion is sick. Known affectionately as Mooncake, she's being screened at the Marine Mammal Center, which is right near the Golden Gate Bridge. She's just one of hundreds of struggling sea lions rescued from California beaches each year. Another indication, veterinarians say, of just how much the ocean is plagued.
About 25% of the adult and subadult do have cancer, and that is an extremely alarming number.
As the lead veterinarian, Dr. Cara Field examines rescued sea lions for cancer.
Given the very severely high rate and how abnormal it is, it's really important that we understand what is driving this disease in these animals.
And now we may just have an answer. A recently published study points to high levels of DDT in the mammal's blubber. Before it was banned in 1972, DDT was used worldwide as a pesticide. The nation's largest manufacturer was right on the California coast. Montrose Chemical opened up its Los Angeles plant in 1947. By 1970, it was clear something was very wrong.
When a recent report showed a high presence of DDT in the fish, residents were shocked.
This polluted Pacific water was coming from millions of pounds of DDT discharged by Montrose. David Valentine, a University of California marine biologist, spent 10 years looking into the company's past practices.
So they dumped them into the storm drains, they dumped them into the sanitary sewer.
In response, a 34 square mile area just offshore was designated as a Superfund cleanup site. Montrose was sued, and almost half of the $140 million settlement was used by NOAA to try to restore at least some of the contaminated habitat.
And one of the goals of the restoration funds and restoration work is to enhance fisheries.
So the government tasked Jonathan Williams, a marine biologist from Occidental College, to design a 7-acre artificial reef just off the beach. So by providing healthier habitat right here, that means that it's less likely DDT is entering the food chain?
That's correct. If you have healthier habitat, you're going to have healthier fish.
For several decades, scientists and regulators were focused on the hazardous toxic Superfund site just about 2 miles offshore, while all the while an even more shocking discovery was waiting to be unearthed about 10 miles offshore in between here and Catalina Island.
Large barrels of DDT waste were being taken out on a barge and then jettisoned and dropped to the seafloor.
Chasing rumors of this second massive Montrose dump site 3,000 feet below, Valentine sent a submersible autonomous robot down into the abyss. Lo and behold, there are likely thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of barrels of DDT on the ocean bottom.
And getting the first pictures back was really the moment we went, oh wow, we're the first people to lay eyes on this in 60, 70 years.
But even with this underwater video, there was no response, let alone any course of action.
I've been beating the drum on this for 10 years. I've talked to numerous people within agencies, within government, trying to generate some interest.
After Valentine published his findings, interest finally followed. 10 years after your initial research, an article comes out in the fall, and then all of a sudden, there's a reaction to it, and there's a big research project going on just offshore.
That's exactly right, and I hope it is just the first of many things that gets done.
35,000 acres of ocean floor was surveyed by Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Researchers described their findings as overwhelming. But this new information is too little, too late for many of California's sea lion population.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Michelle Miller. Thank you for watching Eye on America.